Greetings. Welcome to Safe Space Talks Mind Mastery one more time and again. And today's topic is how to get back on track. You know, it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and I'm super excited. Today, I'm going to talk about the power of meditation and how important it is to practice to make these changes in your mind. I'm going to hit on some topics like the neuroplasticities and our subconscious and just stuff like that to help you get an idea of what it really takes to get your mind back. They're finding out that the medication that they've been giving people just worked, but was starting to complicate everything else when you hear the commercial and the side effects of blah, 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 blah. Now they're saying, oops. I know. I know. No one's going to tell you this except me, I promise you. So now let's talk about ways to help you get your thoughts on the right track. The weather's broken, and there are many singles out there. Some are functioning well in their singleness, and others are struggling in their singleness. And I'm only using this as an example on how the mind works. It is estimated that the first 30 years of our life, our subconscious obtains and stores data that has emotionally moved us, whether it be happy or sad. Relationships play a key role in our emotional state. If you go to therapy, some may ask you, what's your relationship with what's your relationship with your parents? Were they supportive? Or did you feel loved? So people who come from homes where their parents got divorced, or people who are more hesitant in relationships. I'm not talking about everybody. I'm just throwing some stuff out there. And then they can be overzealous, like I'm never getting divorced, so we gonna make this work. And then it's you overzealous, and you're ruining a relationship. Okay, so just be easy, But why are people like that? Most people growing up were told, go to school, get a job, get married, have kids, and your life's going to be voila. So how many of us know that voila is a fa-la? Now, I'm just saying, for some it has worked. Some it has worked, and people have been together years and happy with their kids and 100 grandkids, and everything is kumbaya. And then for others, it's been just a roller coaster of trying to keep a relationship. And that's from that subconscious pileup. I'm gonna call it a subconscious pileup, because that's where all the information is, that when you are emotional, things just pop up and you don't even know that it was still there, or that bothered you. And so that's important. And so if you don't address these by getting therapy or addressing it or acknowledging that this is something that you deal with, then, you have trouble in relationships. Not going real deep, guys. However, example, single people, when they hear that daunting question, why are you still single? You not married yet? And immediately some singles get defensive. They may go up and say, they may say, well, I'm busy. I don't want to be in a relationship anyway. I'm working on this and I'm working on that. And that's their defense. That's their defense. Why? Because if they believe that you should go to school, get a job, get married, have kids by 30, and that's not where they're at, then that belief system is being questioned and now they're defensive. And some other people may just say, you know, I don't want to be in a relationship. And they may genuinely not want to be in a relationship for whatever reason. Everybody is different. I'm not clumping everybody together. But there are others who say ain't, and I really don't like this. Ain't no good man or ain't no good woman out there. Okay, so let's say you're the common denominator. Okay, I'm here to help you because, it can't be everybody else. It just can't be everybody else. Oh, I'm a talk. I'm good friends with all my exes. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but some have gotten married and we are still cool. I done met their wife. I mean, I don't know. It's my personality. I'm a good person. Ain't nobody trying to, whatever, whatever. So, yeah, I've had exes like, oh my God, you gotta meet this girl. I'm gonna marry her, blah, blah. What you think? You know, I don't know. I don't know. Okay. And of course, marriage and kids is not for everybody. It's not for everybody. Like me, I'm not for the children. I love children. I'm a professional aunt and a professional godmother. But no, mm-mm, that's not my thing. And I don't have no plans. Not adopting. It's just not my thing. However, for the most part, all of these things have been acquired. However, for the most part, all these things have been acquired in our subconscious through TV, films, and of course, I mentioned your home life. Most are told that, these are the things you have to do to be successful. And then we find out our friend who dropped out of school started their own business as a multi-millionaire. And we're like looking at our school debt like, so what you do again? Right? So what does that say? That there's not one mold, right? We're all different. We're all individuals. This is why even the Bible said, get your own salvation. Get your own salvation with fear and trembling. That's reverence to the Lord. Okay. So we have to remember that God has given us everything we need for life and godliness. We have dreams and aspirations, even though we may have been bombarded with what we're supposed to do. And then, we become entrepreneurs or we go sports, athletes, whatever. But how does this all play a part? For the most part, you can't be afraid to fail. Failure is just a learning lesson. It is nothing for you to get all excited about, depressed over. It is a learning situation. But sometimes when people fail, what you say, oh, well, you shouldn't have did that. Well, what you go and do that for? And then you just kind of like, well, I wanted to try and see, and you didn't do the cookie cutter thing. We got to stop being cookie cutter people, and this is how you do it, and that's it. I think that's what's messing people up. So it may cost you some time, it may cost you money, but invest in yourself and listen to me. That does not mean don't go to school and just drop out of school and be an entrepreneur and think you're going to become a millionaire. That's for special people who are passionate, consistent, have a wealthy mindset. Their mind works a little different. Okay, now if that's you, cool. That's not you. Go to school, get that piece of paper, get your education, learn the educational techniques. Education, I say, is good for you to do research, what you need when you want to start a business. You got to write your paper, so it gives you structure. It gives your mind structure. So please get your education, because that's how you begin to develop new brain patterns through education. Okay, one way is through, as I mentioned, as we're talking about how to train your mind to get out of these stuck places or set mindsets. One way is through meditation. So, meditation to me is one of the key ways to develop new brain patterns of thoughts. So, you get into your meditation, first role in your meditation is by deleting those past traumas which hurt you. You've heard it before, and people always say you have to forgive. And then people say, I will forgive, but I can't forget, or I'm not forgiving them, or you don't know what that person did to me. But I'm telling you, you have to forgive. And for my saints, we know what the Bible says. You got to be able to forgive people if you want God to forgive you. Now, you need God's grace and mercy. So forgiving is your first priority. And forgive yourself. It wasn't your fault. You don't have to be like, this is what happened to me and it's their fault and I shouldn't have let this happen to me. Trauma is caused because you had no control. Okay? Plain and simple. Trauma is caused because you had no control. So, woosah, right? It's not your fault. This happened to you. Let's forgive. Let's start this new brain patterns so I can forget about or stop dwelling on this past situation so I can move forward. Again, I am not a doctor, but I'm sharing with you evidence-based practices which have worked. I also share my personal experiences so it can help you out, so you can have at least a blueprint of something to work with. Because I know I speak to a lot of people like, I ain't going to therapy. Ain't nothing wrong with me. Yes. See, you have to admit that something is off, something is wrong. You know what? Whew, I get on here and I be talking to y'all, and y'all know I don't like being here, but then sometimes it just makes me laugh that, I'm here sharing all this stuff. But trauma, as I always say, is brutal and tormenting, and these things being trauma places you in a fragile, puts you in a fragile state, so to speak. Okay. But I'm here to tell you, you win. You win in the end. If you are willing, y'all know that's what I say, right? If you're willing, if you're conscious and you're ready to make that difference, to take that journey, to walk through the process with the right help. I'm the assistant, but you gotta do your due diligence and get a professional in the mental health arena, a therapist, a counselor. You have to, you go and you do that, because like I said, I'm just here giving you some background. Now, how to develop new brain patterns. I mentioned earlier how your subconscious mind has stored all this information given to us from birth. And we know that faith comes by hearing. Then what we are told plays a role on our belief system. If you told you stupid, you dumb, you dumb. After a while, you keep telling somebody that, that's the part they start believing. And if you believe, as I said, by 30, you should have had a spouse, a house, children, car, dog, etc. Then when you don't have it by 30, what happens? Write it down in the comments. What do you think happens to that person now that they're grown and that didn't, their parents told them this is what it's supposed to be, and then it's not that? What happens? Because not achieving your goals can cause stress, and stress leads to sadness, sickness, and sadly death. And people think not, but it is true. For those not interested in a relationship or marriage, do you know that it has been reported 70% of people are living out of their survival mode, especially if they have dealt with a traumatic experience? I can confess, yes, I live my life under a controlled survival mode. Otherwise, I would be in the hospital somewhere, not sitting here talking to you, trying to help you not end up in a hospital somewhere. Okay? Not controlled. Someone who lives in survival mode may be snappy. Listen to what I'm telling you, because you may know somebody like this. Blaming others for everything that's gone wrong and lacking self control. They live in a cycle of the same conversation over. You talk to someone and they say the same thing over. You like, you told me that already. Oh my God. Every time I call you, you say the same thing. They're stressed out all the time. They're sick all the time. They got a headache every time. And of course, they tend to be negative in their actions and conversations. So, how to develop new brain patterns? Neuroplasticity is the way our brain repairs after an accident and how we learn. Basically, the presynaptic neuron releases a neuron transmitter in our brain. Now, I'm no neuroscientist, so this is an abridged version. So this is why it's important to keep your brain active with learning new things. We talked about games, journaling, meditation, reading, puzzles, etc. Trauma affects us all, and 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 it affects us differently. Some people can, remember I said in my last video, some people can snap right on back. I wasn't that person. Um, so I'm here to talk to the people who it may take us a little bit more time, therapy, medication, counseling to snap back. But I'm here to say it's possible because, based on your trauma, whether it was a car accident, molestation, parent abuse, an altercation in the street, the horror of trauma. And as I mentioned, feeling as if you have no control is severe. It can be very severe, and our body is designed to protect itself. And as we mentioned here a lot, fight, flight, or freeze. And that trauma, whatever it was, now is in your brain and triggers causes stress and the feeling of danger over and over and over again. And I dealt with that, guys, feeling like just just repeating over and over and over again. And it's like, when is this gonna stop? If you ever felt like that, put something in the comments. Is it just me, or have you had a traumatic experience and you just felt like it was just repeating itself over and over and over again? And so no one wants, remember I just said that 70% of us live in survival mode. And honey, and now with all the assaults and the attack and the gun violence, everybody on survival mode. A friend of mine sent me a video. I should have tagged it on here so I can show you. With the girl, she walking, she got her fist up and she walking down the street looking left and right like, don't come over here, I'll fight you. I don't know if you guys seen that on social media. I laughed. It's not funny, but I had clarity on having that state of mind or feeling like, yo, Don't nobody come over here in my space. And, this is why when people say, excuse me, or can you move, just slide over a little bit. You never know what people are going through. Okay. So we want to get our minds on track from all of what I just mentioned, from the trauma, from our subconscious piled on thoughts that may have been right or wrong, from feeling for being in survival mode from the time we wake up to the time we go trying to get some sleep, and then you can't sleep because you're in strong survival mode. Now you don't get a good night. You don't get a good night's rest. So again, everything is attached to everything. And this is why meditation is important, because it helps to clear your mind. It helps you to pause, stop, slow everything down, and get centered. That's what they say, right? Get yourself centered. So the first step, again, admit that something's wrong. Admit what happened to you, how it made you feel, and then begin to create a new brain activity to get the neurons to send new messages. That's what the neuroplasticity does, right? It works with repeated information. So the more you get rid of or reject and remove, I will not remember, right? Conscious command. I will not think that. That is over. I forgive. I forgive myself. This was not my fault. I'm desiring to be better, right? Because the Lord gives you what your heart desires. But I desire to be well. I want to be well. And so now you're repeating positive information, and then you're sending these messages to your brain to get rid of that old stuff to put in the new stuff. Isn't that, our brain is super amazing. It is a God's gift. It is God's gift, I promise you. So you have to stop the trauma information invasion. I like that. That just like came out. You have to stop the trauma information invasion and switch to your healing process. This is why therapy is important and counseling is important, because I tell y'all, I couldn't stop it on my own, the trauma information invasion. So I had to get therapy, and I had to talk it out. I had to say, hey man, something's wrong. Okay. So this is why I mentioned meditation, because meditation helped me as well. I started out, I told y'all before in the other videos, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I think 20 minutes is a lot, but if you're working, 5 minutes is good before your lunch break. Before you return back to work, you might need that extra 5 minutes to, regroup. But it plays a key role in developing a new way of thinking and getting rid of that old information. Meditation and practice. That's why I have meditation and practice. Because if you meditate and you don't practice, guess what? Isn't it what you doing? What you doing, right? You have to practice saying to yourself, I'm not depressed. I'm not going to do that. You have to push yourself. What David said, I have to encourage myself. You got to encourage yourself. Okay? People say renew your mind all the time. Renew your mind. How? What you mean? When I'm confused and trauma is daunting me, renew my mind. How? So this is what I'm trying to tell you. Is just meditate, practice meditating, and that's the first step getting back on track. Okay, get your mind right, create new thoughts, journaling, visualization, meditation, and your faith. Start a new hobby, the neuroplasticity. Do something new. One of the things I started doing was this. I'm right-handed. One of the things that I was doing to help get my mind off of anything related to the trauma was I started doing things with my left hand. Small, simple. No one told me to do it. Well, the Holy Spirit told me. And I started doing that. If I got up every morning and I used one cup for my coffee, I would switch out cups. I wouldn't use the same cup. If I brush my teeth and wash my face, then the next day I wash my face and brush my teeth. Like it was like I was going to do everything I had to do to get my mind off of being depressed, sad, and this is why I can talk to you about the neuroplasticity. It's the reason not only to help you learn something new, but remember I said anything you give it, it's going to remember. So it's especially if you repeat it time and time again. So if you're making these conscious decisions, right, to be better, do these little simple things. Meditate, journal, visualization, pray, watch positive things, listen to sermons, your favorite pastor or your pastor, or read a book, be active. Let me tell you how important the neuroplasticity is. It has been reported, not by me, it has been reported that if someone goes blind, and then they learn how to read Braille through their senses, their five senses, because they're using their fingers to now be able to communicate, that their eyes, the brain part which is responsible for the eyes, it gives them the ability to see. This is someone not born blind. This is someone who went blind. I'm trying to tell you. So they're feeling, but then they're able to see. That that's super amazing. I'm not making this up. Okay. So my point is you have the ability to change your thoughts, use your imagination, and see things differently. Only if you want to. It all starts with a decision for you to change your trauma to triumph. Well, that's about it. I'm going to go. You have to make sure that you forgive, journal, meditate, pick up a new activity, and practice. Practice this activity every day until you can do it unconsciously. All right. Set your alarm to get up early to do whatever it is new you need to do. Okay. And be easy on yourself. Okay. Some of you will start with good intentions, just like a New Year's resolution. You may feel like, okay, this is it. This is what's going to happen. This is how I'm getting ready to do it. And then you fall off the wagon, and it's okay. Just get up and try again. Just get up and try again. I'm Nigeria Anderson. We're here every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you need me, you can email me at safespacetalks@gmail.com, and I'd love to hear from you. Listen, make those comments below. Let me know what you think, and I hope I've helped you, and I hope you practice.
Grateful to God that I got through it. It's something else that I can add to my story and talk about to try to help someone else.